Good day, everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about the impact of attachment styles towards the satisfaction in romantic relationships among teenagers in Sagayen National High School. I am Primhildmay Alcos Antolin from the division of Davao del Norte, Sagayen National High School, Region 11. So you may ask, why choose this topic? Why should we study about this topic? In Washington, D.C., a TV news report by Vicky Nguyen stated that one-fifth of adolescent girls were reported to have experienced violent sexual behaviors with their partners in the year 2021. 10% of those cases were raped, 20% had experienced physical violence, and 88% was psychologically abused. Additionally, in China, it is highlighted that the impact of love breakups is ranked as one of the most distressing events in the life of a teenager. Also, in the Philippines, 12% to 15% out of every 100 couples in the Philippines experiences male abuse from their female partners. Even in Mindanao, covering these places, Balui, 3 barangays in Lanao del Norte, 4 barangays in Cotabato City, 6 barangays in Iligan City and Isabela City, 5 barangays in Lamitan City, 7 barangays in Marawi City, Parang, 3 barangays in Maguindanao, and 10 barangays in Zamboanga City, with a total of 44 barangays. The study surveyed 1,006 youths and captured information about the acceptance and exposure to violence of youth from their romantic relationships. Many teenagers are dating these days, even younger ones. This is common because our society is more open about relationships. But as we all know, teenagers are still in the stage of self-exploration. They are still learning, which makes them more susceptible and more vulnerable to teenage romantic relationship abuse. As stated, that teenagers' romantic relationship abuse is prevalently present, even globally, continentally, nationally, and locally. It is very prevalent these days. And that's why I came up with this study, because I want to address those problems that are present in my community. Because we cannot stop teenagers from engaging in romantic relationships. We cannot hinder them from doing that. But what we can do is to try and understand them. Because as Jose Rizal have said, kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan. And we ought to provide help for the youth. And in order for us to do that, we need to understand them first. Throughout my study, these are the objectives of this research. First is to describe the level of attachment styles in terms of anxious preoccupied attachment, fearful avoidant attachment, secure attachment, merging attachment, and dismissive ambivalent attachment, in which attachment styles is defined as the emotional and behavioral patterns that individuals form in intimate relationships based on their early interactions with caregivers. Anxious preoccupied attachment are those people who frequently looks for validation and assurance from their significant others, yet never feels completely confident in their relationships. Fearful avoidant attachment are those individuals who are afraid of intimacy and closeness. Nevertheless, they require and depend greatly on assistance from others simultaneously. Secure attachment are those people who have positive self-perceptions and positive perceptions of their partners. They are comfortable with both closeness and separateness, showing strong communication and conflict resolution skills. Merging attachment are those individuals with a blending attachment style, often prioritize closeness to the point where they may rely too heavily on their attachment figure. Lastly is dismissive ambivalent attachment, which are those individuals who tries to conceal their emotions and keep a safe distance from partnerships or other possible sources of rejection. The second objective of this research is to describe the level of satisfaction in romantic relationship in terms of self-disclosure, equity, affection, relational security and certainty, quality of communication, commitment, maintenance of behaviors, conflict resolution, and role in relationship. Satisfaction in romantic relationship refers to a person's subjective opinion of how rewarding and satisfying their relationship is. Self-disclosure refers to a process of communication by which one person reveals information about themselves to another person. Equity is a state of fair inclusion where all individuals can participate and prosper and create conditions that allow all individuals to reach their full potential. Affection is a form of communication that portrays feelings and fondness and positive regard to another. Relational security or certainty refers to the quality of being confident and steady to their significant other. It is the state of being certain that your partner are for the long run. Commitment. It is referred to the faithfulness of the individual to his or her partner. This also means their devotion to one another in the course of their relationship. Quality of communication. This refers to the effectiveness of interaction between lovers. It is the efficiency of their bond and experiences in which they contribute to their relationship. Maintenance of behaviors. This refers to the satisfactory state or condition as actions and activities used to sustain desired relational aspects. Conflict resolutional is referred to as the ways of resolving a conflict between the relationship. This also means the effort they establish when their partners are dismayed. Role in relationship. It is defined as the contentment of one another to the roles they play in their relationship. It refers to the quality and confidence of them reaching their responsibility as a significant other. The third objective is to determine the significant relationship between attachment styles and satisfaction in romantic relationships among teenagers in Cagayan National High School. The fourth objective is to determine which domain significantly affect the satisfaction in romantic relationships among teenagers in Cagayan National High School. These are the hypotheses of this study. First is there is no significant relationship between attachment styles and satisfaction in romantic relationships among teenagers in Cagayan National High School. Second, there is no domain that significantly affect the satisfaction in romantic relationships among teenagers in Cagayan National High School. These are theories that served as my guide in navigating this study. The dependent variable, which is the attachment styles, is anchored on John Bowlby's 1969 attachment theory that provides a framework for understanding how early relationships with caregivers influence emotional development and relational patterns in adulthood. By recognizing the attachment theory and attachment styles, An individual can gain insights into their behavior in romantic relationships and work towards healthier dynamics. Additionally, the dependent variable, which is the satisfaction in romantic relationship, is grounded in Carol Roosevelt's investment model of commitment. It explains when satisfaction is high, alternatives are low, and investment are significant. Individuals are more likely to feel committed to their relationship. Lastly, this study is anchored on the social exchange theory, which provided a framework for analyzing the relationship of the two variables. It posits that relationships are a form of cost-benefit analysis, where individuals weigh the potential rewards against the potential cost involved in interacting with others. It suggests that individuals are motivated to maximize their rewards and minimize their cost in relationships. Social exchange theory provides a valuable framework for understanding how individuals perceive and evaluate their relationships based on cost and rewards. Presented to you is the conceptual paradigm of this study, wherein you can see in the first box is the independent variable, which is the attachment styles, along with its indicators, and an arrow that is directed to the second box, which is the dependent variable or the satisfaction in romantic relationships, along with its indicators. Quantitative, non-experimental descriptive correlational design was used in this study given that enables the analysis of relationships between variables and the prediction of outcomes based on these associations. This approach is crucial for comprehending the relationships between various factors without conducting experimental manipulations. The research activities will be conducted at Sagayan National High School, located at Barangay Sagayan, Asuncion, Davao del Norte, Philippines. The population and sample included teenagers from Sagayan National High School who are currently in a romantic relationship, with a total population of 142 respondents. The responses from the questionnaire is tallied and recorded and undergone the following statistical treatments. First is the mean. This was used to measure the level of attachment styles and the level of satisfaction in a romantic relationship. Thus, this will be utilized for objectives 1 and 2. Second is the Pearson R, which was used to determine the significant relationship between attachment styles and satisfaction in romantic relationships. Hence, this will answer question number 3. Regression analysis was used to determine which domain of attachment styles significantly influences satisfaction in romantic relationships. I will now present the study's findings, organized according to the research questions from the previous chapter. First is Table 1. Table 1 shows the data on the level of attachment styles in terms of anxious preoccupied attachment, fearful avoidant attachment, secure attachment, merging attachment, and dismissive ambivalent attachment. It is indicated in the table that the overall mean is 3.11 with a descriptive equivalent of moderate. This means that the level of attachment styles is moderately evident. All the 5 indicators have a descriptive equivalent of moderate. This was based on the parameter limits of this study. The highest is on anxious preoccupied attachment with a mean of 3.24. Then fearful avoidant attachment with a mean of 3.21. Next is secure attachment and dismissive ambivalent attachment, both having a mean of 3.04. And lastly is merging attachment with only 3.01 mean. The overall mean of 3.11 with the descriptive equivalent of moderate means that the level of attachment styles is moderately evident. This further implies that most teenagers don't fit neatly into just one attachment style. They likely show a blend of characteristics from different styles, like secure, anxious preoccupied, dismissive avoidant, or fearful avoidant. This is actually quite common as individuals can develop different attachment patterns in different relationships throughout their life. Teenagers are still in the process of forming their own attachment styles. Their experiences with their parents and other significant figures are shaping how they approach relationships. This is supported by a study that emphasizes that teenagers are still forming their attachment styles, meaning they might not have a fixed, single style yet. Next is Table 2. Table 2 shows the data on the level of satisfaction in romantic relationship in terms of self-disclosure, equity, affection, relational security or certainty, commitment, quality of communication, maintenance of behaviors, conflict resolution, and role in relationship. It is indicated in the table that the overall mean in satisfaction in romantic relationship is 3.81 with the descriptive equivalent of high. This means that the level of satisfaction in romantic relationships is highly evident. The highest is on the quality of communication with a mean of 3.96 with the descriptive equivalent of high. Next is the maintenance of behaviors and role in relationship, both having a mean of 3.91 with the descriptive equivalent of high. Next is relational security or certainty and commitment, both having a mean of 3.87 with a descriptive equivalent of also high, followed by conflict resolution with a mean of 3.86 with a descriptive equivalent of high. Then equity with a mean of 3.76, and then affection with also a mean of 3.76. And lastly is self-disclosure with a mean of 3.39 with a description of moderate. This overall mean of 3.81 with a descriptive equivalent of high means that the level of dissatisfaction in romantic relationship is highly evident. This further implies that the statistical data I've gathered reveals a significant trend on reported satisfaction among teenagers in their romantic relationships. This suggests that a substantial portion of teenagers are experiencing positive feelings within their relationships, likely due to factors such as shared interests, mutual support, and a sense of belonging. This is supported by a study that highlights that romantic relationships provide a unique context for self-reflection and understanding. Through interaction with a partner, teenagers can gain insight into their own strengths, weaknesses, values, and desires. Next is Table 3. Shown in Table 3 are the results of the test of significance on the relationship between the levels of attachment styles and satisfaction in romantic relationship. As reflected in the table, the overall R value of attachment styles is 0.268 with a p-value of 0.001. This implies the rejection of the hypothesis. This means that there is a significant relationship between attachment styles and satisfaction in romantic relationships. This implies that the attachment styles plays a vital role in shaping the relationship of teenagers. The coefficient of determination, or R squared, for attachment style, which is 0.072, means that 7.2% of the variation in satisfaction in romantic relationship could be attributed to attachment styles. The rest of the 92.8% is chance variation, which means that market orientation could be attributed to other factors. Lastly is the Table 4. The study's result in Table 4, all p-values are 0.00, which is considerably less than 0.05, which is the margin of error for this study. Therefore, for each attachment style, the null hypothesis is rejected. This means that there is a statistically significant evidence to suggest that each of these attachment styles is significantly related to satisfaction in romantic relationship. The decision column reflects this rejection of the null hypothesis that shows that all 5 attachment styles, anxious, preoccupied, fearful, avoidant, secure, merging, and dismissive ambivalent, have a statistically significant relationship with satisfaction in romantic relationship. Each attachment style appears to be associated with a distinct level of relationship satisfaction. These are the summary of findings that I have gathered throughout my study. First is that teenagers at Sagayan National High School have a moderate overall mean attachment style of 3.11. Second is their overall mean satisfaction in romantic relationships is high at 3.81. Third is there is a statistically significant relationship between attachment styles and satisfaction in romantic relationships, with a probability value of 0.001, leading to the rejection of the null hypothesis that I have mentioned earlier in the discussion. Fourth is the findings indicate that attachment styles significantly affect satisfaction in romantic relationships among teenagers, as the probability value of 0.001 is below the significant levels of 0.005. Therefore, I conclude that attachment styles are moderately evident among teenagers in Sagayan National High School, and the satisfaction in romantic relationships among teenagers in Sagayan National High School is highly evident, and there is a significant relationship exists between attachment styles and satisfaction in romantic relationships. And also, lastly, the attachment styles are important predictors of satisfaction in romantic relationships for teenagers at Sagayan National High School. Based on the findings and statistical data that I have gathered throughout my study, further recommendations will be mentioned. First, there is a need to promote resilience and self-reliance among teenagers. The observation that merging attachment style exhibits the lowest mean in our study presents a compelling opportunity for fostering resilience and self-reliance among teenagers. Second, encouraging to strengthen the educational programs, promoting open communication and self-disclosure. The findings that self-disclosure registers the lowest mean in our assessment of teenage romantic relationship satisfaction is a cause for concern. Because self-disclosure, the act of sharing personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences with a partner, is a cornerstone of intimacy and trust. A low mean in this indicator suggests a potential reluctance among teenagers to engage in authentic and vulnerable communication within their romantic relationships. Third is the Philippine government should strengthen programs under Executive Order Number 53. Given the significance of the relationship between attachment styles and the romantic relationship satisfaction of teenagers, comes to the idea of developing teenagers' growth and providing them a well-guided path. The programs under Executive Number 53 should expand their scope to comprehensively address the self-growth and wellness needs of teenagers alongside their protection from violence, abuse, and exploitation, and also discrimination. This requires the help of Department of Social Welfare and Development, or the DSWD, National Youth Commission, or NYC, Council for the Welfare of Children, or CWC, and also with the partnership of the Department of Education, or DepEd, and Department of Health, or the OH. Fourth is that teenagers should try seeking professional support for teenagers to develop healthy coping mechanisms and improve their relationship satisfaction. The indicator exhibiting the lowest R value of 0.40 and an R squared of 40% in the data analysis for the domain that significantly affects the dependent variable is anxious preoccupied attachment that only has a 40% effects of the variance, leaving a substantial 60% unexplained by this factor alone. It is crucial to acknowledge that while anxious preoccupied attachment in teenagers can lead to vulnerability, it is not a reason to tolerate or accept unhealthy relationship dynamics. Fifth, the Department of Education, or DepEd, in the Philippines should enhance the personality development subject in the K-12 curriculum in the Matatag curriculum under DepEd Order number 010 to amplify comprehensive relationship education and to address diverse attachment styles and equipping students with crucial life skills such as effective communication, conflict resolution, and emotional regulation. Teacher training should be also prioritized, ensuring educators possess the necessary skills and sensitivity to facilitate open discussions on sensitive topics. Parents play a crucial role in fostering healthy adolescent development, particularly concerning teenagers, evolving relationships, and emotional well being. This is why I suggest parents should foster a supportive environment that balances attentiveness and appropriate detachment, allowing teenagers to share experiences openly without fear of judgment. Seventh is that it is important to encourage teenagers to cultivate self awareness in their romantic relationships. It is very important for a teenager to be educated and to be aware in order for her or him to assess themselves if they engage in romantic relationships. Lastly, is a research title like Unraveling the Complexities of Teenager Relationships, a mixed method approach could guide future studies. While self reported relationship satisfaction among teenagers may appear high in statistical analysis, of course, it may appear that mostly teenagers in Sagayan National High School are highly satisfied with their romantic relationship. Such data should be interpreted cautiously. Observed satisfaction levels may not accurately reflect the adolescent's genuine emotional experience because, as we all know, romantic relationships are more on the experiences, on hand experiences of the person. Future research should employ mixed methods approach, integrating quantitative data with qualitative insights to include the personal experiences of each person to contribute the both positive and negative relationship outcomes that would significantly enhance our understanding and of the complexities of teenage relationships and inform the development of more effective interventions and support systems. Informations that were used in this study was cited from these references. However, this is not the full references, but this is one of the most used references in this study. And once again, I am Crimheld May Alcos Antolin from the Division of Davao del Norte, Sagayan National High School, Region 11, your researcher on the impact of attachment styles towards the satisfaction in romantic relationships among teenagers in Sagayan National High School. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening.